immediately.
What's up, everybody? How's it going? Awkward wave. Hey, how's everybody? First and foremost, we'll let some folks get in here, but first and foremost, we have new mics. You can see we're actually wearing mics, like we're being interviewed or something. So if it's too loud or it gets too crazy, let us know and I can adjust it because we're still kind of adjusting to it. But I think we have eliminated the echo. So I'm excited to see how it sounds post. Definitely oozing sexual energy. Corey, one day we'll have you in front of a camera. Me and Brad were also out in the garage getting our lift on, getting the pump for the people, the people's pump.
Oh, I'm not sure I agree to that one.
The people's pump. Okay. First thing I'm going to ask is if you guys haven't liked the video, go ahead and like the video.
No, might be.
Go like it, and if you aren't subscribed to me, shame on you. Go subscribe. But I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking. We'll give it a little bit of time since we just went live to get some folks in here. But then I've got a big one that I'm working on today, and it could. I'm going to need to shut up and draw. So, but the fun thing about this cover is I have a giant. If you saw my story earlier, I have a giant Amazing Fantasy 15 poster right in front of me that I can just keep looking at for reference. So it's not like I have to keep referring back to my phone and stuff. So it should go fast for anything that I need to reference. And plus, there's a lot of blacks in this because Spidey should go pretty quick because he's got a lot of blacked in and stuff.
Are you going to ink it too, or is that what?
Oh, I am inking it.
That's
yeah,
what
I'm just going straight from blue line to inking.
Oh my gosh, the bravery.
Yeah, it's funny these days. I don't break out the pencil as much. Sad.
Getting paid more.
Yeah, getting paid more. Anyway, how's everybody tonight? Y'all doing good? Y'all should go whatever social media you use and go tell people that we're live.
Mom just sent a message to let us know she was watching. So, thank you, Mom.
Hello, Mother. She probably can't hear us, so I don't know how to.
But she can't hear us, but because she's our mom, if you don't know, has been going through chemo. She's doing great. She's more than halfway done. But the side effect is it has affected her hearing. It's hopeful it's going to all come back after it's all over.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, she'll get hearing aids. And we're all loud assholes. So we'll be able to, she'll be fine.
Yeah.
So she just can't hear this. And if it continues, then we'll find a way. If I have to sit here and stenographer dictate everything we talk about, we can do that. We'll get closed caption for her somehow. If I have to do it post, we'll get it so she can watch it. So she did more than enough for us growing up, so we can do that for her. But regardless, she's here. She's here supporting us because that's what moms do. That's what good moms do anyway.
How's the mic's level sound? You guys hear echo? Is it too sharp, too shrill? Let me know before we get into the
we can adjust a little on the fly.
Potatoes on this.
Shane's right. We're about to have another evening with Cyclops. James Marston needs it. I need them to make him right. I need him to be the field commander of the X-Men. I know everybody wants to see him in the blue and yellow. I want to see him in the blue and white, but
assignments and stuff.
Scoot is live.
Hey Matt. Hey Aaron. Hey guys.
Matt, Nick, and Aaron came in here at the same time. They planned that.
Yeah.
Dang, Corey says as long as Brad isn't talking, it's sounding great.
Oh.
I hope he's just roasting me.
I hope he's just roasting. But let me know if it is because we do have different pitches in voice, and I can adjust it as needed. So, and then he's going to be doing the majority of the talking, and he tends to talk louder than me. So
yeah,
I can definitely lower it. So like I'll lower it right now. So you guys tell me if that's too low, too high. So, sitting with mom sounds good. Cool. Oh yeah, well we know you're an ass. So. You probably have an ass too. So, last thing I'm going to mention real quick because I don't really have anything to catch up on. If you see my description in the video, it says 2 videos in 1 year. What is this, 2022? So maybe this means we're back to a semi-regular thing. I texted Brad and I was like, "Hey, do you have this day off?" He's like, "Yeah, I don't have anything planned. Sweet, let's stream." So we'll see if we can continue to keep this going. We've even been talking to our friend Mark, Mr. Winchester, who is another comic friend of ours, and we're trying to get him out here so him and Brad can just go ham while I draw.
Yeah.
But other than that, the other thing about this stream is we're streaming here on YouTube today. Then tomorrow I'm doing a Whatnot stream. So if you're not on Whatnot, go to Instagram, click my link in my bio to sign up for Whatnot, and not only will you follow me and be able to watch the show tomorrow, but you'll also get 15 free dollars to spend on anything on Whatnot. So it's a good link to go follow. But also this piece that I'm doing here, hopefully I'm going to be auctioning off tomorrow. Now this is a bigger piece, so it's not going to start like my crazy other auctions are like starting at $1 and $10 or $20. This one will start higher, but if it doesn't sell, it'll go in a portfolio because other piece of news, we're going to HeroesCon.
Woo!
So
I'm excited.
I got approved to be an artist at HeroCon. The booth has been paid. So yeah, at least Brad and I will be heading to HeroesCon in June. Super pumped about that. Super pumped.
Never been to North Carolina.
Yep. So if you're gonna be at HeroesCon, come say hey to us.
If you're not going to be there, figure out a way to get there.
Yeah, because I've heard nothing but awesome things about that convention.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into this. So as usual, you guys have anything you want to talk about? Talk about it. I'm gonna draw and I'll chime in as needed. Also, I'm trying a different angle on this camera because watching some of the videos, a lot of times when you're straight on the picture, it my hand covers up a lot of what I'm drawing. So I'm kind of doing it at an angle here so you can kind of just see what I'm doing. So let me know if it works. Let me know if it doesn't work, and we'll adjust as needed. And then as always, if I'm getting off the page, I'll just shout in the chat so that Brad can tell me.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm gonna get going on this Amazing Fantasy 15 recreation by the iconic Jack Kirby.
Yeah. We've I think if Scoot and I would align with this, if we were allowed one comic, if someone would give us any one comic, it would be this.
100%.
I even as much as like I would love a Marvel Comics #1 put out by Timely Comics, because it's the first appearance of Namor along with a bunch of others, and Namor's one of my favorite characters. I think Amazing Fantasy #15 is just so iconic though, and just how Spidey has been so influential in our lives, and we still, we always joke that if we make a top 5 list, hey, top 5 favorite heroes, Spider-Man's 0, so you don't even have to worry about putting him in there. He's there.
Yeah.
And I remember once I had a girlfriend ask, she's like, "What if you could have any one comic? What would it be?" I was like, "Oh, it'd be Amazing Fantasy #15," and I explained the importance of it to her. She goes, "Oh, have they never reprinted it?" I said, "No, they reprint it all the time. They have the facsimile, the True Believers." I remember the first time I got to read it was in Spider-Man 365, 375, something like that. That big,
the black cover.
Yeah, the holographic cover. That had the holographic. It's black with the hologram in the middle of Amazing Fantasy #15, and it was actually the first appearance of Miguel O'Hara as well.
Yep.
The Spidey 2099. And I remember getting that because that was a steal as a kid. We got a comic and it was thick, and so I read
also
the heck out of that
hologram.
Yeah, the hologram.
The hologram guys.
It's one I wish I still had, and it's on my to buy list. I wish I should have asked Mark to look for that.
You don't still have that? I thought you still had.
I don't know. I have my clear cover with Ben Reilly where he took over as Spidey.
Oh damn.
And I have that and the Executioner Saga book with Strife, Stike, and Jean Grey on it. But I remember her saying that, well, if they've reprinted it, doesn't it drop the value?
God, no.
Absolutely not. In fact, it probably only makes it go up because then people get to experience the beginning again, and then you get a taste of it and you want the real one.
FF48, Aaron, which one is that? That's not First Galactus, is it? I think that's a lower number. I could be mistaken.
Fantastic Four number
48.
You have to tell us which one that is.
I don't remember
what's the importance of that. But
I'm usually pretty up on key issues, but I don't remember.
Yeah, and And this is absolutely, there's some other key issues. Scoot, Mark, and I actually have a thing. Mark did it today. He's in Chicago, seen a couple of punk shows. He said, "Hey, I'm going to a comic shop. What do you want me to look for?" And Scoot sent some Doctor Strange. I sent some Jericho Drum issues I'm looking for, Doctor Voodoo, and Spider Girl. I'm trying to do Spectacular Spider Girl Volume 1, 2, and Amazing. They're hard to come by, so I always have them keeping an eye out. But there's stuff I mean, he bought us a couple of books. I think, but the most expensive he got for one of us is $18. Holy Grails we're talking about. We talk about that a lot. As we talk about key issues, key to us means it's important to us.
Yeah.
I have every single what I think a key issue of James Rhodes is. The first time James Rhodes cameoed, the first time or the origin of how he met Tony Stark, the first time he wore the Iron Man armor, the first time he wore the War Machine armor, his first solo series, and his death and resurrection. And combined, those books are worth like $20. But they're all key issues to me. But if we're talking, someone will give you any book you want in the world. Amazing Fantasy number 15, absolutely, always comes up.
100%.
And to this day, what's Amazing Fantasy number 14 or 16 about? Is there a 16? I don't know.
There isn't. No, this is the last issue.
15 was the last. There we go. They couldn't top Spidey, so they just ended the series.
Yeah.
And I don't know what 1 through 14 look like. I don't know if they had the same logo. I don't know if they have any recognizable heroes in them because Spidey overshadows them all.
I think Amazing Fantasy 15, it actually was the new name. It's called Amazing Fantasy. It was called like Amazing Fantasy Tales or Fantastic or something like that prior to this issue.
Okay. And 48 is First Silver Surfer. Okay.
Okay,
cool.
Yeah, I thought so.
Very cool. Yeah, that would be a cool issue. I know our friend Mark, he tries to collect every issue of Fantastic Four and Spider-Man that he can, and he has a significant chunk of them, and it gets into those really early key issues. Like, I would love, I think it's Spider-Man number 3, Amazing Spider-Man number 3, the first Otto Octavius, first Doc Ock.
Heck yeah.
I have a very cool facsimile. It's the Marvel Presents, I think. I think you might have bought it for me.
Yeah.
Very cool.
The first time I think it was reprinted.
Yeah, the first time it was reprinted. So then it's not as cheap as a True Believer, and it's very cool, and I keep it on my wall because I like it. But I would love an original. But that one's
that's steep. Like I would like number, I think it's 4, the first Mysterio.
They said Amazing Adult Fantasy. I hope you're.
Yeah, no, that's right. That's
is it really?
Yeah,
oh my God!
Adult Fantasy. Yeah, that's what it was called.
That's.
Aaron wins a prize. I don't know what that prize is, but yeah.
The no prize. It's the Marvel no prize. But yeah, there's several of them out there. Again, I would love. I've seen more copies of Amazing Fantasy number 15 than I have of Marvel Comics number 1.
Oh, 100%.
But yeah, there's a lot of really cool early issues. But Amazing Fantasy, man, I know we had a friend who collected and claimed one of their friends owned one. Now I don't know if this is like my girlfriend who lives in Canada, who's imaginary.
Yeah.
That might have been something he made up, but like, if he'd ever slipped up on that address, I would have known for sure.
Yeah, it's one of those, man, show it to me in person or it doesn't exist, and then all of a sudden there's just a big gang fight happening.
Yeah.
And I would win.
So Anne said Mark got Giant Size X-Men number 1 and it's not in great condition. She's a crappy condition. It might go missing from his house. Yeah, Mark bought that, and the guy was asking a crazy price for it, a wild price. And Mark walked over, and that's another thing I think we've talked about on here before is don't be afraid to bargain with people. It shows.
Worst they can say is no.
Yeah, the worst thing they can say is no. And I mean, probably don't insult them with what you choose, but I walk in like, you got that for 40, I'll give you 25, and then like 35, cool, I don't care, I save something. Like, so yeah, always bargain. But he got that Giant Size X-Men was a cool one. Of course, like, we're talking favorite characters. Cyclops, I'd love an X-Men number 1 to have the first Cyclops. I think unless something wild happens and I get some, financial windfall, it ain't happening. But Giant Size X-Men number 1's pretty cool. Shane said we need episodes of Scoot's collection and Brad's collection. Show us what you got. Woo.
Oh, that would actually be a fun one. So if I do that, we could do that, and I would just choose something less involved to draw, so we could spend a chunk of the time. Because literally, we're in my comic room.
Or we could even get a second camera, take the camera that's watching us, and I could tour the room for them while you draw.
But yeah, we're in my comic room. Like, I'm looking at comics on my wall and prints that are signed and original art. And I mean, you can
Yeah.
see the Star Wars stuff behind me. That's basically my Star Wars wall,
And it's
except
something,
for the Red Sonja comics. But
um, and something Scoot, Mark, and I are the only three members of the Spider-Man foil cover club. And so every once in a while we'll pick a new cover, and there's 4 covers you have to be in it. And we haven't picked a new one in a couple of years.
yeah, maybe this is the year.
But yeah, it all started because we have, what's that, 375?
375.
We have Amazing Spider-Man 375. Scoot's had that since he was a kid, and I think Mark picked up a copy, and I was like, well, I guess I'll get one. And then we're like, okay, so we're a foil club, and then Scoot, Mark, and Scoot and I especially, are huge fans of the Spider Armor, where Spider-Man has the silver armor because of the video game, the Super Nintendo game. And so I found Web of Spider-Man 100, I think is what that is. Yep, giant size 100 issue. So I found 2 copies super cheap and bought them for us. And Mark bought one. Then I think we did Spidey 2099.
Yeah.
And the first issue, because of course that's cool red holographic with Miguel on the cover. And then what is that 200th issue of Spectacular Spider-Man with Norman and Spidey fighting in silver. And so we gotta get another one. But other than that, I mean, Scoot's got a lot of cool key issues up here, cool things like variants.
I have new key issues that I bought, and I just haven't changed out my wall, so I need to do that.
I would if I did it, because if you've ever been in a really old house, like or my house is probably from the 30s or 40s that I live in, they have a rim around the top, and it looks like it's decorative molding, but it's actually a picture holder where the walls are terrible and won't take a nail or like a hook or anything to hang a picture. So people had these decorative molding put in, and you hang pictures from them. I don't hang pictures from them. I lined them with comics, and it's really cool. Like one side's all Spidey with mostly clones, and then it goes into an entire section for Cyclops, and it has Rhodey and Hank Pym on one wall, and then Namor and signed comics, and then some What If comics that I really like.
I love the
What If stuff. I've got some more up, and I've got some more I'm putting up. But
I see Shane said I would do a Shane's original artwork collection show, but 25% would be my art, and I thank you very much for that.
Yeah, no one would mind that at all.
Actually, I have a piece that is going out to Shane probably Monday.
Yeah. And he said they got us with those foil covers back in the day. They still got me. I love a foil cover.
Yeah,
they're ridiculous.
I had one come in today.
Yeah,
a hot rod cover.
They're ridiculous and fun. Aaron said Spider Armor was awesome. 94 cartoon made me love it. Yeah,
100%, man.
Spider Silver Armor in the Spider-Man animated series was fantastic, says Matt. Yes, and that's, again, we definitely read comics our entire life, but the Spider-Man animated series and the X-Men series are probably the biggest contributor. Because for that matter, we couldn't afford a lot of comics, but we had cable, and so we could watch TV shows. And so that helped us get into it a lot. Again, I've got a Cyclops pillow from the animated show from '94. So Sweet Christmas, I think, is 31 years old. And he said, I wish I had more Dream comics, but I have had several that mean a ton to me. My Michael Turner.
Shane. A sucker for Michael Turner covers, bro.
Yeah.
100%. I got that. Did you get the Marvel Art of Michael Turner book? Because I have it sitting down there. It's a new grail for me. Like it's a Bible.
And he said her Michael Turner signed books are special. Yeah.
Mine are up there.
I've got the one, because of course I met him one year, but I wasn't into anything he was really doing. And then I got really into Witchblade. So I've got the cover he did of Kenneth Irons when he finally got the Witchblade to attach to him for all of 6 pages before it rejected him. Because Kenneth Irons was my favorite character in that. And I couldn't go, so Annie got us a signed copy of it, which is super cool. To this day, I love him.
Yeah. If people aren't a Turner fan, I don't know what kind of fan they are.
Yeah, and
we talk about in here all the time, like what you like, but if you don't like Michael Turner, you probably just leave the stream right now.
Yeah, and I mean, because even if you weren't, I don't feel like his art is one of those, like, I just don't like his style. Like, he's just good. Yeah. It's like saying you don't like Jim Lee's style. Like, dude's incredible.
Yeah. Always will be.
And then even if you don't like his art, he seemed like a genuinely good guy. Yeah. Maybe he was a serial killer or some terrible thing that, but he died a hero. He didn't live long enough to see himself become the villain.
Man. And I mean, we talk about that too. Artists, it's like the Beatles. I hate the Beatles music, but I can respect what they did for music. Uh,
Aaron just left the chat. No,
of course he did. Um, but like John Romita Jr., I wouldn't say I'm not a I am a fan of his work. I'm not a huge fan of his work, but is he a cool guy?
Yeah.
Like he is an awesome.
Didn't he respond
guy.
back to one of your comments about the Macy's parade?
He did, yeah. Because
Yeah.
I saw the Spider-Man balloon in person. It was based off his dad's
Yeah.
rendition. But man, like he genuinely just loves comics.
Yeah.
And loves drawing comics, and I can get behind anybody that's like that.
And his run with JMS on Spidey,
Oh,
perfect.
Man, Moreland.
Shane said his Marvel Civil War comics are just brilliant. Yes.
Yeah.
I think you've got the one of Spidey,
Right
Iron
there,
Spider.
up there.
So I bought Scoot that in New York,
Yeah.
and then Scoot did me an homage of it with Superior Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So I've got that. That's up on my wall. I don't know what that was for. A birthday or Christmas or something.
Shit, I don't know.
Scoot draws stuff for me every once in a while, but oh man, we absolutely did not talk about the T-shirt design we were supposed to. We'll get it later.
The what?
The T-shirt design.
Oh.
Scoot's designing something for my run group. And said it's been 17 years since that summer, or 17 years this summer since Turner passed.
2008. Man.
I remember they announced that on Adult Swim.
They did, yeah.
That was like Twitter back in the day. They updated stuff right away. Shane said his Batman Superman run was amazing. Yeah, dude, I have that trade.
Dude, he is the reason people draw Supergirl the way they draw her now. Like,
he said he met JR at Lexington Comic Con and he was so nice.
Oh, did you go? No, that wasn't recent. Recently was Planet Comic Con, and I know he's going to be at another convention. I would love to meet JR, man.
Yeah, I always liked him. I mean, some of them are super talkative. Usually the writers are more talkative.
Yeah,
but it's also cool. Like we're getting to know some of them.
Yeah,
some of the not the like Mark Bagley's not going to remember us.
No,
but
he might not remember.
Who was the super cool guy at Somerset, and then he was at
Kyle Holtz.
Kyle Holtz, yeah, dude. He remembered me. I was like, dude, I'm just my brother. I wasn't even at most of the Somerset Con because I was busy throwing up profusely. And
speaking of that, Shane, we having a con this year.
Oh, Shane, I didn't even connect that, dude. So I need you to have that convention again so I can win cryptozoology trivia because it was an absolute shame. Scoot was sending me questions, and I was just dying inside. I was meant to win that, and someone poisoned me to take me out of the running.
They definitely did. Now it makes sense.
Because no one else got sick.
No.
And dude, I was so tore up, but I won. Somerset is quaint and lovely. It was cool. Like when I told Scoot, I was like, "Hey, I'm feeling better. I'm coming to the con." He's like, "You want me to come pick you up?" I was like, "Nah, man. It's only like a mile. I'm gonna walk it." And I walked through that town, and it was super cool. And then the International Paranormal Museum, which funny enough, I saw somebody driving through Midtown with Shelby County plates, which is where we live. We live in Shelby County, who had a International Paranormal Museum sticker. Like, what the hell's the chances of that?
Yeah,
it was that was super fun. I'm glad that we got a VIP tour to that, which made us kind of feel like a celebrity.
Yeah.
And then dude was excited because I actually know a ton about cryptozoology and paranormal stuff, so that was super fun.
Sweet, man. Next month you're making announcements. It was fun. It was fun.
Aaron said, I'm not making any useful comments to the chat until Scoot takes back his Beatle comment. Sorry, bro. We don't like the Beatles. It's just never been. I like their Christmas songs. This is Christmas, and what's Paul McCartney's? Paul McCartney has a really good Christmas song.
Oh my God, what is it?
Yeah. He called us dog walkers.
Because John Lennon's "The War Is Over."
Yeah, This Is Christmas is what that's called. Aaron, I have been to Abbey Road. I didn't take a picture because there were a bunch of people. It was like traffic there, but when I was in London, I stayed pretty close to it, and so I saw the Abbey Road crossing. Which, I mean, again, I don't like the Beatles, but it's too iconic to pass up.
Yeah, I've just never been a fan of the Beatles' music. If John was in the chat, he would defend it.
This is the worst comment that's ever been made here. I don't know what the songs together that come together right now. I call it the Bukkake song.
Bouquet song.
But obviously, that's the Beatles. Bush performed that live at Beale Street Music Fest and did a great job. I don't care if it wasn't the original lineup. Gavin Rossdale was still hot and slaying that guitar.
Yeah, he was.
And like he sang some of the new songs, and I wasn't too into them, but I almost started a pit for Machine Head. Like,
Mhm.
oh, dude, Razorblade Suitcase or 16 Stone, I was all there for it.
Yeah.
But we were at a Grizzlies game, our local basketball team, and they started playing that Beatles song. And our friend Joey is a massive Beatles fan. And I was like, oh my God, it's the song from Zack Snyder's Justice League. And I thought he was going to throw me off the bleachers. It was one of my best subversive jokes ever. He was furious at me. It was so good. Oh my gosh. Wonderful Christmas. Yeah, it's the pagan song where they say it's like people having a pagan ritual. He's like, oh, somebody walked in simply. Happy. There you go.
Wonderful Christmas time.
Well, I'm here. We don't do it. He said no making fun of the Beatles.
Hey, I didn't make fun of them. I just said I don't care for them.
Yeah, and you would have fun because Scoot is just by proximity of sharing a room with me for so long and being my brother knows about cryptozoology and paranormal stuff when I talk to him about it. Annie is as close to my Moriarty as possible because her and I have talked about we watched In Search Of and all that. So if you needed someone who likes comics, costumes, and paranormal stuff, Anne is right up your alley.
Plus, that con was fun. Don't sleep on small cons,
dude.
because
And everybody there was having such a blast.
Yeah.
There was a lady dressed as Mothman and absolutely having the best time.
Oh yeah, and like last minute we got me and Deegan got asked to be on a panel.
Yeah,
that was super fun. But then just in that cool venue that we were at,
the bar afterwards,
yeah, that
the
little
post
bar
show
afterwards, and then Kyle Holtz's son's band was really good. It was a fun time. It was a fun weekend.
Yeah, it was. I'm sad I missed the pre-show, and then I was kind of dying during the after show, but I was still, man. It was just, yeah, I had fun the whole time. Cool town full of cool people.
Yeah,
like it's absolutely a town that has a secret that we don't know about that's going to come out in like 20 years.
The secret is Brad threw up all over the street.
I think all 700 people who live in Somerset saw me throw up in town square. I lost 11 pounds. Like, dude, I was dying.
Yeah, all the bands were good, man. I enjoyed doing the little drink and draw auction thing prior to the show. That was fun.
Yeah, your Scarlet Witch Flatwoods monster was incredible.
Yeah, Kyle Holtz liked that one too. So I mean, we're best friends basically.
He's like, see you in Memphis.
Yeah.
And then he came down. He's like, hey guys, how's it going? He was. I know we've talked about Memphis Comic Expo being slower this year for a number of reasons. Some controllable, some not. But he was making a killing there.
Oh, yeah.
Every time I walked by, he was getting tons of attention. So I'm looking at this. I don't want to sound like I'm ever criticizing Jack Kirby, but it looks like he buffed up his right leg because his leg's kind of skinny in the original.
Oh, I definitely did. I definitely did my style proportions and made him slender because in the original he's kind of got like a little belly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely made him more of my style of drawing Spidey.
He said the Visitor band was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
The band before there was one of the bands. I wish I remembered all their names. It was like a lady and a dude, and they were singing songs about cryptids, and it was incredible. I was having such a blast. Aaron says if I'm coming over in November, I'd look at accommodations pretty soon. I am just gonna sleep in your bathtub. Get ready. I hope you know
who
that.
needs accommodations when Aaron lives over there?
Aaron, I'm like, see, man, it was a good con day. I'll see you tomorrow. And like he goes home, and I'm just in his bed. How'd you get in? I'm American. Breaking and entering comes with the territory.
Yeah. I'm from
Malala's Midnight Village. There you go. Thanks, Shane. Yeah, that was so cool. And then there was the very metal band came in next, and they were great. It was like every metal. I don't want to say stereotype because that sounds like they were trying to be something, but like there was a super jack dude in a shirt that was too small for him, and it was okay because he was hot. You had the dude with the long hair, and as soon as he started, his hair just dropped in front of him.
And he didn't have shoes on.
And they were metal as hell, and I loved it. Misty says, "Hey, little brother's joining a little late joining."
That's all right.
That's okay.
We're just into this. Look at this. This is as far as I've gotten.
Yeah, we're 30 minutes in.
Yeah.
I guess you got to finish this by tomorrow.
Yeah.
Maybe not on stream.
Yeah, which is fine.
There's some pretty detailed buildings in there that are probably going to need a
Yeah, let me
ruler.
come in real close, and we'll kind of show you some of this building action here. Which honestly, since the buildings are laid out and it's the background, it shouldn't take a ton of time. I'm not going to be going over this with a ruler and everything. Because one thing that I learned that David Finch mentions a lot is that he will do building layouts and stuff with a ruler, um, which is why I have the ruler that I have. This thing, this thing here.
Drafting ruler.
Yeah, it's like a drafting ruler for nautical stuff. Um, but he'll do everything with a ruler. But then when he goes over it with his final pencils or final inks, he doesn't use one because he said it makes it look more organic and more real.
That's fair.
Than if you were to use a ruler and make it perfect. So that's what
super,
I'm going to be doing.
That's super fair.
Yeah.
Aaron, question for you. It's because I'm terrible. Like, so when I travel a lot, I'll get an Airbnb or something, but sometimes I'll just have a car and go, and then find out my accommodations when I get there, which obviously I can't do traveling abroad. Because one, when I get into customs, England is the English customs are gonna 100% want to know where I'm staying. They don't care anything for vagabond bullshit. But uh, do you live close enough? Like, I guess, do you just commute to Thought Bubble? I'll be honest, I don't exactly know where you live and what its relation to Thought Bubble is. So I'm
Aaron,
curious.
if you just want to drop your address in the chat.
Yeah, we won't write it on any truck stop bathrooms. So yeah, I have to look into all that. I need to. What I need to, if I lock into an accommodation, then I'll absolutely go there. But oh, he said oh, he's an Airbnb. Okay, cool. I was gonna say, because if you lived close that you commuted, and then I got an Airbnb, I say just come stay with me. Cool. Yeah, I'll look into that soon. I can literally live in little coffin homes, because I guarantee you, all I'm gonna do is go into my place to sleep. I'm gonna be out moving the rest of the time. I'll bring over a bunch of stickers so people will remember my face. I'm going to stay out late wandering around so that by the time I leave, I'm an urban legend. That's my only plan. That and meet John Allison. John Allison and John Locke.
One day I'd love to do an abroad convention.
I wonder how we would do. Would our so this is
I wonder how we would.
Inside. So when I studied in France, I was the hottest guy there. No, not really. There were plenty of other people hotter, but the foreign mystique definitely drove me up. And I was not as in good a shape or as good looking as I am now. As humble as I can say. So I wonder if it would us. There's got to be more than that. It's got to be so many creators. It's got to be pretty international.
Yeah,
I can't imagine Thought Bubble is not a local con. I mean, it's not going to be just English people or even people from the UK. So
I've never, I've always wondered, like, as far as my artwork goes, what the reach is like.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's people that like my artwork in America, but I wonder if there are people abroad. I mean, I've sent commissions and stuff abroad, but
yeah,
what's that reach look like? Because obviously, I'm not a full-time known comic artist, so
yeah.
would it be worth my while to do?
It'd be good. I think it would be good. I mean, shoot, if you ever decide you'd go, I'd pay for it. I'd get it all taken care of. But I
think it'd be cool for the first one to maybe start in Canada and do one, because they
Yeah.
have like the fan expos and stuff.
And fuck it, just go to England. That'd be cool. I've tried for years. I want to get my family to go somewhere outside of America. Not that, don't get me wrong, America's full of super dope stuff, and you'll never run out of things to see. It's basically 50 little countries. We're all very different, other than a few things that unite us all. But yeah, going abroad's cool. And I mean, think like we could leave on like a Thursday or whatever it is, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We could leave the day before, get there, do the convention, then have like a week to roam around and see cool stuff.
Yeah.
Aaron said you'd kill it over there. Yeah, but I think Scoot and I have a good energy, and then I'm always very like cognizant of how I behave abroad, because Americans have a well-earned, maybe not deserved, because they're not all that way, but they have a well-earned reputation for being pretty terrible tourists,
Yeah.
being pretty elitist, and so I've always tried to be pretty normal when I go. I remember I was in Paris for the first time, and I was wandering around, and these two guys were like, "Hey, can you take a picture of us?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "How did you know I was American?" And they're like, "You're wearing a University of Memphis shirt." So, oh, okay. And they're just two guys who were
Fair
out on their
enough.
honeymoon, and I took a picture of them on the. There's a bridge on the Seine that you put your lock on, and you throw the key in the river, and it's supposed to mean you'll be together forever. Um, and so I took a picture of them, and I found out they lived like an hour away from Memphis. And it was just wild
Oh,
that
that's
like
crazy.
how random. Yeah, I'm thousands of miles away and ran into these two dudes who were within driving distance of me. Super interesting, super cool guys, super nice dudes. Um,
Aaron, what time is it over there? Is
is it
it
six
past your
hours?
bedtime?
That man stays up late. He's got a bedtime like me in high school during the summer. Like every once in a while he'll be like,
Questionable.
"I'm going to bed," and I was like, "Yes, go to bed." Thought Bevel is great if you plan to travel after it's in the middle between the south coast of England and north coast of
Nice.
Scotland. It's 11:35 over there.
I'd
Oh,
also
I was off a little bit.
really would love to go to Lake Como Art Festival.
Where's that?
I don't know wherever Lake Como is. It's somewhere over in Europe,
Oh,
but
okay.
it's a comic art festival.
I would love to go to Scotland. You absolutely know I'm going to Loch Ness if I ever go.
Yeah, hell
But
yeah.
yeah, I'm always paranoid because last I heard, I don't know if it's changed, but it used to be that I could, um, I could go to England and rent a car, and I can drive legally with my American license, which absolutely is a terrible
That's a
choice
really bad idea.
because America does not really put us through the ringer. Like you learn trial by fire to drive. Literally, Scoot taught me to drive on back roads, and that was more training than most people get. Most people just show up to the DMV and kind of learn by like just figuring the shit out as you drive. Luke Kilmo's in Italy. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They filmed Naboo there. Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
cool.
exactly. That's it.
Uh,
All right, we're going for a different
but
pin.
there was so like I think I could still go over there and rent a car and then just like travel around after I like wander afterwards. Convince Aaron not to go back to work and just become a traveler, wander around the UK until we find other places to go. Smoking through this.
Yep. That's this pin right here is awesome because I wanted to get through Spidey with the real fine lines,
Yeah.
but then this pin is the one that I can like if I push harder, it makes a thicker line.
Oh
You
yeah,
know, so
line weights.
yeah.
I know some words. I did trivia last night. Of course, I host trivia at my gym, High Point here in Memphis. And I did video game trivia, 80s and 90s video game trivia, and I thought we've talked about this before with the horse sister quiz. Is I it's kind of hard to gauge, and but even when I finished this, and I thought, man, I think I made this a little too easy. And of course, people showed up, and there was a dude who was absolutely. I want you to pick the most stereotypical nerd you can, and that's who this guy was. Then we had a guy who's kind of more, I guess I don't want to say cooler nerd, but he showed up and he had the tattoo of Samus on his arm, and I was like, oh, he's about to answer a few questions right. And dude, it was so funny because they just kind of like hodgepodge some teams together, a smaller gathering. That dude was sweeping. He didn't miss a single question until we got to one where I listed 10 or 8 or 10 games in the Mario franchise, and I gave them a game bank, so it had all the titles, and I listed the years, and you had to list them in order. And
I need to take
dude,
your I need to answer
oh,
your
oh
question.
yeah, I can do it after this. It won't take long. But he swept every category except that one and missed it. And then the final part of the quiz you had to identify music in the series it was from, but you got a bonus point for the first appearance of the song or the piece of music. And he swept the category, or he missed one question. The one team missed one question. That guy flipped two of the date ones, so he ended up getting uh, he ended up missing 2 points on that one. So the other team pulled ahead. And dude, you want to talk about a guy getting salty? He
Oh,
was not having a good time after that. And I'm just like, remember, everybody, this is free. I do this as a service. Have fun today. He was pretty upset, but it was fun. Corey actually helped me with this. I took the idea of who's that Pokemon where you show a silhouette. Again, I had a couple in there that I thought could confuse people. These people were not confused. They were ready.
fantastic.
And Corey made. I found clip art or found original art of all these characters, and he made silhouettes for me. I even made slideshows, so like I held up the iPad and showed them and tapped them through, and they faded in. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, dude was not happy that he didn't sweep completely. I was like, dude, everybody misses one.
He took it too seriously.
And I told him, I think I told the story, but I'm gonna tell it again because who cares? When I did Star Wars trivia, I came in and I always tell people, I say, hey, once you're done, please come up and talk to me because I like to talk to nerds. Uh, let me know if it was too hard, too easy, just right. Was it the Goldilocks zone? Would you like to do a harder one? Would you like to do an easier one? Would you like to just do another round of this? And Star Wars, I was really adamant about that because Star Wars is probably out. The it and comics are my two biggest fandoms that I know. Especially let's like slim it down even more to Marvel comics.
Yeah.
So I was really concerned that Star Wars trivia was too hard. I remember I went through the first draft of it and I kind of was reading questions to Justin, and he's like, dude, these are tough. So I toned it down more and started getting into stuff like I didn't have a question about Darth Vader's, the name of his Star Destroyer,
Yeah.
the Executioner.
Yeah.
But I didn't have that as a question because they never utter it out loud. So it had to be, it was movies and TV shows, and it had to be said out loud. So I don't care if you know who Ethan Mon is. It doesn't matter because they never say his name in the series.
Definitely know who Ethan Mon is though.
Yeah, so I had it that way. But I remember I was like, so please, tell me. One guy came in dressed as Vader. One guy came in and had a Hawaiian shirt that had Millennium Falcons all over it. So I was like, they're gonna probably do okay. And I was talking to one table, it was just this couple, and the girl was like, oh, you don't have to worry. And she flipped her arm over and had like her whole forearm was covered with like a Darth Vader head in the middle and like cool tropical like leaves, like foliage around it. It was a really cool design. I was like, oh, okay, we're good. She got about 18 points out of 200. Like it. So
you don't have to.
I always tell people like check your ego because sometimes and it wasn't that bad because like the other teams were doing better. Like the team of casual people who just came in to hang out did better, and I was like, I don't know what they were expecting. Y'all, like I gave that quiz to our entire family and friends. Like we had a day and you guys went through and you guys did fantastic.
Yeah.
I think all of you came within a point or two, or some of you scored higher than the winner. And so I tell people like, dude came in with the Samus tattoo. I was like, well, he's gonna get a couple of questions right, but last time this didn't go so well. But trivia is fun.
I love trivia. Yeah,
trivia is fun.
A lot of fun.
I like coming up with it because one, I like to talk. I like to be the center of attention. I like to like command the room. So I really like doing it. It's almost there's times sort of like this. I could have fallen asleep on Scoot's couch while we were sitting here like listening to music before this started. I've been up since 5:30 this morning. I went running. I'm tired, but as soon as we start streaming, I'm awake. I'm alive. I'm ready to go. The same way as like trivia, man. I was up all day yesterday and I was tired. And I get there and I sit for a minute and I'm like, all right, it's time to get into character. And you
just lights you up.
Yeah, you perform. So it's a fun thing to have to do.
We've said it before too. It's the same thing with conventions.
Yeah, we've gotten up sometimes in command. The Memphis Comic Expo this year, Scoot stayed at my house for the day, like overnight, and we're both like, hey, we're gonna wake up, we're gonna go run. And I had just gotten back. I literally landed in Memphis at like I think about 12:30 at night, like technically Saturday morning, and was up at like 4:30 to get to the convention and brought the energy all day. And then we went and ate and I deflated.
Yeah.
And Scoot and I were watching Godzilla -1.
Hell yeah.
And we both were like nodding off watching it because we were trying to watch the whole thing. We were like moments away from the coolest Godzilla kill ever. And we just couldn't make it. So the next day I was like, dude, I'm going to wake up. I'm going to try to run. I think Scoot wanted to run about 3 miles. I was going to run 6. So I was like, hey, I'm going to run a loop. I'll let you in the house. Then I'll go do another loop. you can shower by the time you finish. I'll be back. We can shower. And we got up and just sat on the floor in my front room, which I guess is my nerd room, my comic room,
And just talked.
and we just talked about comics and conventions and lifting and whatever we wanted to. And you know what? That probably did us more mental health good. But
Yeah.
then we're like, all right, time to get ready and time to go put the show on. And by the time we got there, I remember we were coming in and there was a person who's part of the convention. We won't name because we don't need to slander anybody because people have bad days. But Scoot and I are like carrying the tub and like fist pumping, like, let's go, day two. And they're like, I know, it'll be over soon. I was like, what? Like, be over
Screw
soon? I wish
that.
this shit lasted forever.
Yeah.
And he said, maybe I should pitch getting you to do trivia at some of the conventions to help with. I would absolutely love that. Like, I don't want to do it at, what was the Somerset Con called? I keep going to, come on. We had a cool, it wasn't Paracon.
No.
That's an actual paranormal convention. I think that's in England.
Why am I blanking?
Oh, Shane, please save us. We're blanking on your convention name. Put it in the chat so that you can promote as well, because people should go. It was super fun.
Cumberland Con.
Cumberland Con. There you go. Boom. Scoot got it. You can still throw it in the chat. I don't want to do trivia there. I want to win it. And that's fun. When we did, so I've been trivia master ever since, Will came up to me. Will's my friend, of course. Best Bud Collins. He was looking for new things. You're always looking for things to build community and, get people to come in because obviously it's a climbing gym and you can lift there and there's yoga, but you always want other things to do. You want to have, they just had a lights out night the other day where you had to bring your headlamp and climb in the dark and it was super fun. And there's things like that. You build community and you build stuff to do. We're a running group, but we have little side events we do to keep people interested because not everybody wants to run in the forest for 4 hours. So you find other stuff for them to do to still be part of this community. And it's really fun.
100%, Aaron.
And so Will was like, hey, we're gonna start doing some new stuff. We're gonna have a chess club, which chess club's really informal. It's just cool. It's like every other Thursday. Bring a board, play chess with people. It's super cool. We don't have chess boards in the park anymore, but you can do it at High Point Climbing Gym in Memphis.
I like playing chess.
Yeah, I do too. I've played a couple of times. I'm not good. There's some people in there who bring a clock. They're good.
Oh, yeah.
But he's like, hey, we're gonna start doing trivia soon. And I said, cool. Let me know when it is. I'll come support you. He goes, no, you're doing it. And I was like, whoa, okay, sure. And I was like, my joke is always he needed his loudest. He was like, I need trivia. Who's my loudest, nerdiest friend? He called on me, and that's fine. I love doing it, and I've got it down to a science. So it takes me about 4 to 6 hours to get together once a month. Next month, I'm actually doing something different, which I'm trying to get a lot more people there. I'm doing Jeopardy. So I'm gonna have a full Jeopardy board with like, I don't know, 15, 20 topics, and they're all gonna be more general rather than on a specific, like we're talking about video games or Star Wars or whatever. And I'm coming in a suit. I'm gonna make Alex Trebek proud. It's a super fun thing to do. So if conventions ever wanted to do that, again, we talked about Memphis Comic Expo had nothing to keep people there outside of the guests. So once they got their guest stuff, they left, and they needed panels, they needed stuff to do. I mean, I would need a little more time, but almost I could have pulled a quiz up off the internet or something. But if Memphis Comic Expo came to me and said, I want you to run trivia, I'd be like, hey, Scoot, I'm gonna be gone for 2 hours.
Yeah,
Get someone else up here. Yeah, and we'd have a good time. Or we could even have you in it and hey, during this trivia, Scoot's gonna draw a character, and if you win, you get the original piece of art. Something like that. That'd be fun.
That would be awesome.
And so I would love to do that. So, and I mean, I would always be up for it, and I think that's the closest to, like, I know Annie had a convention that was very slow and she didn't get a lot of foot traffic, and it kind of bummed her out, which is fair. I mean, you set up and we bring energy, we put a lot of effort into it, and to see something fall flat, Scoot and I go through it every time he does a convention. We're like, what if no one shows up?
Yeah.
What if no one ever does? What if we don't have a good time? Well, we'll always have a good time, but what if we don't sell anything? And I've done that. I had one trivia so far in a year that we had no one show up to, and it turned out fine because Will and I sat and had a really good conversation about some stuff going on, kind of a mental health dump. But sometimes people don't show up. But so I could prepare stuff and have it ready, and then especially if I'm traveling to different areas, I could reuse stuff. So there's always ways to do things like that.
maybe with because so I went to um comics and collectibles, and Donnie said that he doesn't have a buyer for Memphis Comic Expo, so he's planning on doing it himself again. We need to
Yeah.
go up there and be like,
Yeah.
let us help you.
Let us. We should do that. Get Mark involved because
Yeah,
Mark. I think Mark is smart. Our friend Mark is writing a book right now about management.
yeah,
Actually, excuse me, he's editing it
yeah.
because he
He's
wrote
done
it
writing it.
already.
Yeah,
Mark is an incredibly smart guy, and if we can, as long as they're not like, all right, Mark, here's your lineup. You got to interview Jonathan Hickman. He's not ready. He would die.
no,
He would collapse in it before he could ever get on stage. But I think Mark, if we got him like, we could practice with him a little, maybe get him on stream with us so he kind of works on his presentation.
yeah.
I think he'd be great because and his knowledge of comics is probably higher than mine.
Oh yeah, it's definitely
I
higher than mine.
I think I could say definitely higher than mine. And the key thing we always talk about here is Mark is passionate.
Yeah,
He likes comics. He likes talking about them. So he'd like interviewing people. It could be somebody he doesn't even know a lot about, and if they give him a month, he would buy a bunch of comics and read about them and be ready for them. And again, he's smart, so he can absorb the knowledge out of them. And he would probably, I think that Mark, I need to ask him this. I bet he's an active reader, meaning like if it's a good book or he has a goal. Like if somebody said, you're interviewing Jonathan Hickman, and he's like, I've never heard Jonathan Hickman, which is a very dark world to live in. He would buy all this stuff and he would sit and read it and have a notepad beside it, taking notes. Um, uh, but he would take notes while he's doing it, so he could either one form questions or look stuff up later. I was doing it when we were 2 years ago when we were going so hard, and we were going to get John Locke on here to talk about Big Punch Comics and Afterlife Incorporated, which I'm still so sad fell through. If we get consistent again, I want to get him on
yeah.
because
Be down.
it'd be super cool because John Locke is incredibly interesting, incredibly cool, and I love like as far as indie comics go, I think he's one of my favorites. Just how he does everything, and then we do it earlier, so Aaron, because he lives in the UK as well, and Aaron wouldn't have to be up so late. But yeah, I think we've got enough people that we could get them on board and be like, Donnie, you don't even have to do it. Just convince people to do panels, and we'll talk to them.
Yeah,
He could have come with me and said, "Hey, Brad, I need somebody to do a panel." I'm like, I don't. Mark Bagley in 15 minutes. I'm there. I'm ready. I think you can almost just do surface level stuff. What got you into the industry? And you
hmm
tell those stories. You don't want to. You want to be
yeah,
more informed. You want to ask them questions they've never heard. But you can do that. You can do a surface level how's the weather conversation, then get into something deeper.
definitely.
And so I think if he's up for it, I think he knows us well enough. I think
Oh,
he'd be
for
cool
sure. I
with
mean,
that.
I was last year. I was in there every week. I mean, so he
Huh.
always asked me how the art's going. You know,
Yeah.
how are things?
So we're trying to rev back up. And he said I haven't had the best selling days at cons lately, but I love being at them no matter what.
100,
Absolutely.
100.
Scoot and I could go to Heroes Con and he sells nothing or couple of pieces of art. Well, still, we'll be in a city we've never been in. I guarantee you we're going running
Oh,
around the city. I'm
yeah,
plotting courses already for us. We're gonna have a cool road trip. I'm guessing it's probably only like 7-8 hours there, maybe.
yeah. I'm
Uh,
also planning on maybe seeing if we, even if we leave a day, 2 days early, then
yeah.
maybe we have a layover in Knoxville and do Nirvana Comics
Oh, that'd be
on the
cool. Let
way
me know
there.
because I've already put in time for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Okay.
I've got Saturday, Sunday off, of
Well,
course.
we'd be leaving Thursday, so
Yeah, like early Thursday.
I would assume.
Oh, okay.
We'll
Well,
we'll figure it
is
out.
it? I'm sorry. Is it Friday?
It's
Is
Friday,
the first?
Saturday, Sunday.
Okay. Then whatever it is, I have the day off before off
Okay.
already. So,
Yeah, because we definitely leave Thursday.
yeah. Yeah. We don't want another Knoxville situation where we get snowed in.
No,
If we get snowed in
in June.
in June,
It deserves.
if we get snowed in June, that's the apocalypse, guys. It's been fun.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go there. We're gonna still bring a bunch of energy. We're probably gonna spend some money.
Oh,
My biggest hope is that Scoot's actually making a killing to where I can't get out and spend money.
yeah.
But it would still be cool. I need to look at the guest list and see who all is going to be
They
there.
have a crazy guest list. Like
Yeah, we gotta, because
obviously Chris Claremont's there every year, and
doing a sweep and getting signed comics is always fun.
yeah,
Aaron said, "No, I hate the con will be over soon." People, yes. If I ever say that and without good reason. Now, if like for some reason we're harassed or people are abusive towards us, that's different. But I mean,
Also, I welcome you to try that. So
yeah, yeah. I mean,
let's go.
unless, oh gosh, uh, why am I blanking on people's names today? Super Jack guy drew Batman, and then he's drawing Wolverine with Jonathan
Oh,
Hickman.
Capullo.
Yeah, Capullo. There you go.
Greg Capullo.
Unless Capullo or Deodato
Junior.
Jr. decides to
Or
step
Kyle Host, because he's Jack too.
Kyle Hobbs, and he's tall. He was
Yeah.
so unless one of them decides to step to us, I'm pretty confident about taking 90% of the nerds at any convention.
Yeah.
And in worst case, I can outrun them. So I just yeah, I don't ever want. I think we could do a convention almost every weekend. But
Oh
we've been
yeah.
in the trenches of retail and corporate hell America so long.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'd ever take it for granted. We'd
Yeah.
probably have bummer weekends. Oh, Scoot was kind of sick, so it was a harder weekend.
Definitely. But we've also I know how to weather the bullshit. you
Yeah.
know? Like I get customers that complain to me daily.
Oh yeah.
I get called to the front of the store. Hey, we need a manager up front daily. So I know how to deal with people like that.
Yeah. That's
My customer service skills are top notch.
yeah. If it's what is it, you need like the 10,000 hours to be a master at something, and I've done every type of customer service basically you can. So
That's true. I haven't done food service.
I've done food service, I've done rental, and I've done retail now. I mean, there's obviously special stuff in there, but so I mean, yeah, we've had some people who are real bummers come to our table, and we just know how to deal with them. You get them out. You take that negative shit somewhere else,
Yep.
and
Oh, you're not having the fun in the con? Shit sucks to be you.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I just again, we're all there being nerds trying to have fun, and I don't know. Don't bring that energy. If you're gonna have that energy, don't come to the convention, maybe, or maybe you need to be there and cheer the fuck
Yeah.
up. But uh, yeah, so I think whatever happens at Heroes Con, we're gonna be out a couple of $100 if we don't sell stuff,
I'll
and
tell
that's
you,
it.
my biggest fear at Heroes Con is making sure that I'm on my game for sketches because
Yeah.
it's gonna be nuts. It's the biggest comic only convention in the U.S. or at least the most popular one. So I need to make sure that I'm on my game. That's what I'm worried about.
So kept up on some concerts. Matt said I missed some Beatle talk, and Brad's moving in with Aaron in November. I'm all called up. I mean, yeah, it wouldn't be
Basically,
so bad. And Aaron said, if you want the couch in my Airbnb in November, it's yours. Absolutely, put me down for that, and I'll figure out how much I owe you, and I'll hit you with some money. That won't be bad at all. And as if we'll have an Alex mustache. I'm assuming you mean Alex Louis Armstrong, the strong arm alchemist. Uh, I'm not that jacked. I will never be that jacked. I will also never be that kind-hearted and amazing. She does. I do so many cons now that I'm sure I could find a few that would take you on for trivia, panels, and other stuff. For cons, for me at cons, if people want to talk cosplay all day with me as a guest, I've done my job. Yeah, I mean, I think we get a lot of people. We talk about it a lot. Is man, sometimes there's a stereotype of nerds of how nerds are, which is the socially awkward, don't know how to talk, and it's a stereotype for a reason. There's a lot of
Mhm.
them like that, but sometimes they just need somebody to talk to. I mean, and we were like that for years. We didn't have nerdy friends. It's only with the ubiquitous nature of the internet now that you can
Yeah.
find nerds so easily. And so we used to have to go to the comic shop, and I mean, luckily we had each other.
Yeah.
But it's still to this day, I am constantly surprised when we do trivia and people say, "Yeah, I'm the biggest nerd," and I'm like, "This is
Are
your
you?
favorite fandom, and I know more than you." Like, and that's not an insult. Like, it's not a brag. It's just how intense we are. It's finding people with that same level of intensity and passion that's hard. I mean, it's almost the same way as looking for like a partner in a relationship. You
Yeah.
need someone who's going to match your energy, and cons do that. So yeah, I mean, ask K. They've gotten so many weird and awkward people at their booth, and we have too. And you know what? They're all. I mean, they're cool people. Who
Yeah.
cares? They're. We have a little awkward conversation, but we still talk about comics and we go about our day. And hopefully, they got to talk to somebody. We've had people put on weird displays for us at times. Aaron says comic retail helped a bunch for cons. Yep. Tennessee Comic Collector says, "What is this?"
Hey, this doesn't look like a bunny. I know. I know. Don't worry. But we have to get back to streaming.
Oh no, Annie. So Annie was not talking about Alex Louise Armstrong. She was talking about Alex Trebek. Uh, International treasure because I'm sure as Matt Nick knows, Alex Trebek was Canadian. But I will not have. I'm going post mustache Alex Trebek, and he said this doesn't look like a bunny.
Yeah.
Are you drawing him a bunny of some sort?
Possibly doing a cover, another cover.
Oh, okay.
I'll talk to you about that.
Those are after hour streams
Yeah.
when the rabbits come out.
Cliff, we haven't talked in a while. We need to talk.
It's secret. We were manifesting a cover in the group chat. Corey's so desperate now he's taken to making silhouettes for me in whatever photo editing app he uses. Which I didn't even pay him for.
But I'm doing a whatnot stream tomorrow too, because I need some funds. Plus those are fun streams as well. Any chance that me and Brad can get in front of people and do some streaming and drawing is a good time.
One of these days you're going to do one of those huge crossover Instagram streams with Cliff and all of his homies.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be here for it.
Oh yeah. With like
I've never got to
and Kate's comments. I think doing those were getting me to want to stream more hardcore again. So
yeah, absolutely. We're kind of easing back in because we were getting big into scheduling, planning these streams a little more.
Yeah.
We definitely Scoot did a great job planning this out, especially with the dual YouTube whatnot stream.
That was Alexa behind you.
Oh. I almost jumped out the window.
I moved it from over here to back there because I needed a plug in over here.
But Scoot and I were planning out what we were doing months in advance, or at least stream like several, like 5-6 streams in advance.
Yeah.
And we were getting into trying to figure out how to do like have guests on because we want to do that. And I remember our biggest thing we were trying to do was get it to where you could pencil, ink, and color. So it was like you would sit and draw something here, excuse me.
Yeah.
And then while we were on stream, scan it to Corey. Corey would upload it onto his iPad or whatever he uses. I think he uses an iPad.
Yeah.
And then
we could watch him.
We could watch him ink, and we would just talk with him, try to drown out his 30 kids screaming in the background. And then we would pass it on to. We were originally going to do Iker, and we don't know. John Iker got really into the '60s, and we haven't heard from him. No one ever saw him again. And so I guess Matt's up. So we would do an international stream all at once.
Matt, do you have capabilities to stream?
Yeah. Yeah, if you do, let us know. Cliff said, "Is it a fun talk or a bad talk?"
Oh, a fun talk. Just we haven't talked in a while about
Aaron
stuff,
said, Aaron said, "I've just had a thought. I think I want to do a comic anthology. Like, oh, you mean like lead one on your own, like lead the charge, find the creators, put it together? Because
if so,
that's a heck of an endeavor. And if you do, yeah, it would be fun." Matt said, "100% I do." Nice. So we'll keep that idea going. If we get more consistent streaming, we'll revive that because I still to this day we've never gotten to do anything. I still think the ultimate, let's say Memphis Comic Expo because it's our convention, was to have a table with you and Corey there together.
Oh, love it.
And then, oh, you want something ink? Cool, I've got my inker here because I think that adds something even cooler. Yeah. Nothing against your inking skills.
No,
but how cool would that be? Like, yeah, I'm gonna get a scoop piece and someone else is gonna ink it. That's dope. Like, it would be so fun. And then you could draw like less. You could draw looser and let Corey fill it in.
Yeah, anytime I can make Corey work harder is great.
Aaron said, "Yeah, I'd lead the charge. I may think it over tonight. Think it over, man. Yeah, that's
anthologies are great.
If you want to do like a 5 to 8 pager, as long as you don't tell us it needs to be done next week, I think Scoot and I would be down to contribute to that. I think we could. That might be the kick I need.
Recently, with getting the cover work, thanks to Cliff, and just drawing more regularly, getting commissions more regularly, streaming more regularly. Like the one thing that I want to do that I just don't ever get the chance to do is work on my sequential work.
Yeah.
And I really, really want to do that. So an anthology would be.
We could even sneak in and have have a couple because we got B Movie Saga 2 ready to go.
Hell yeah.
I just got to get. I've just got. He said I'm thinking a 5-pager for those stories. Yeah,
Cool.
B Movie Saga 2 is
Nine,
six is 7 pages in a two
double page spread.
double page spread. But and he said if Corey could stream from his cornfield, I think Matt will be good. We don't know. We've never tested the cornfield streaming. We can. He's gonna disconnect his AOL Instant Messenger in the middle.
How's the stream for you guys? Is it still clear? Y'all still seeing everything okay? Sound good? 'Cause I gotta tell you, although the mics that we've had previous are really good mics, I just could not figure out how to get the echo out.
There's an echo.
So I bought these lapel mics or lavalier mics or whatever you want to call them. And I bought them because they were on sale on Amazon this week for $10 for 2 mics. So I ordered them and I told Brad, like, man, worst case they suck and I didn't waste a lot of money. And I was doing test recordings and stuff and they were awesome. So
yeah,
hopefully you guys are feeling the awesome too.
Matt says I have a Canadian igloo signal. Dude, the pictures you've sent, it looks like you could build an igloo out there. As opposed to me, who was running shirtless in the rain today. So,
100%.
Cliff says if Corey doesn't blow up Tracer chasing Amy style, is it really a con? I don't know. I feel like with his basketball team he has to manage, that he's probably got infinite patience. Aaron says the mics sound great. What brand are they?
I'll send you a link, Aaron, because I couldn't tell you.
Hit the link in the description so we get a kick now.
Oh yeah, we should do that.
Corey will get one of those kids to sit on top of a silo with an antenna. Captain Iowa checking in. I didn't realize that he dropped. Once we actually move out of the cornfields and into a modern city, yes, there are a few in Iowa.
And when he says modern city, he means the house he's building.
He said steaming will be less painful. His Cleveland steaming will be less painful.
Oh no!
Typo, buddy.
But
yeah, we definitely need to get that idea back because it was cool. I think, especially because we collaborate so much.
Yeah.
That it would be fun. We could probably actually catch up because sometimes even I fall behind on that thing. Especially Instagram recently, I'm a victim of social media of like doom scrolling too late in the night, and so now at 9 o'clock, my phone just cuts Instagram off, and I can't use it until 5 a.m. And it's really helped me get back to reading and like decompressing at the end of the night. So I missed some of the conversation.
That's good.
Aaron said, "I think I know how to set up that stream." Well, if you set it up, I mean, we're just gonna have to have you in to talk with us then.
We'll just be quiet and listen to your sexy English accent.
Yeah, us writers just talk. Cleveland steaming is never painful for me. I have to look at my. Oh God.
He has to say it here because he can't say it on Whatnot.
Yeah, Whatnot. I think within like 4 minutes of the last Whatnot stream, him and Aaron got a muted word.
So I was watching a Whatnot stream the other day, watching Gordon Wills, watching him draw.
Oh, heck yeah.
And they were talking about, it was the day all the Avengers Doomsday announcements had come out for the actors. And one of the guys said, I'm pumped for Alan Cumming. And they immediately deleted his comment. He was like, I can't even say the actor's name.
Yeah. That's his real name.
He's got Cumming in his name. Like, come on.
I'm glad he's coming back because I still think I think there's superhero movies in general can have issues. I think the X-Men movies weren't great, but X2 was the best of the bunch. I still feel like I don't think that's even a hot take. I think that's just that's like saying Ocarina of Time is the best Zelda game. Like, and the big part of that was Alan Cumming. That opening scene with him was incredible. To this day, how he looked, how good he looked, how his tail looked, how all that stuff looked.
I love how his tail brings a knife and he just doesn't even look and grab.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
And even the how they translated the Banff of like, they were like, the brimstone is curling as he leaves.
Yeah.
It's the smoke is curling in the negative space his body just left. And it's comic booky as hell too. It's super fun. I like how they portrayed. They really focused on his Catholicism, same as like I with Daredevil. I'm glad they recently brought him back praying because
Yeah.
those two characters are defined to some degree by their religion, and I love the idea of like how he talked about he's this monster, he's this devil looking person, but he still has this deep faith in God, and I really thought that was interesting, and it was really sad because one, he'll downplay it a lot and say, "Oh, it was the prosthetics. I didn't like having to sit in makeup all that time." But you also know that like Bryan Singer was not a good person and
Yeah.
was very homophobic towards him, from what I've heard. Of course, I don't know, allegedly, but this dude's giving a killer performance, man. Get over your stupid hate. And
Yeah.
it's sad we never got him back. And I didn't have anything against the other actor they had come in and play the young one, but I still just it was you could tell also they were getting a lower budget because even like Kelsey Grammer coming back in the post credit or the final scene for Days of Future Past, you could tell it was not as good a prosthetics as his original because X3 wasn't great, but Kelsey Grammer was like killer beast.
Yeah.
I loved how he looked. So yeah, I think I'm glad he's getting another chance to come out and do a great job. I wonder what his costume's going to look like. Are they gonna go fins on him? Is he gonna have the shoulder pads with the white V? I mean,
Oh no.
uh, and I think he'll have an easier time. I think this is where CGI will be good, is because they can put him in basic prosthetics and then give him the rest in CGI.
Yeah.
I'm pumped for James Marsden to come back. I hope they give him a more prominent role like he deserves. Let's see what else. X2 was my wife's and my first date. Oh, should have proposed. Alan Cumming was phenomenal as Nightcrawler. Yes, Annie, you're absolutely right. Yeah, the mutants they've chosen for the movie are a good choice. Absolutely. And I think there's obviously going to be more. But and even though I felt they were a little older when they first, well, Patrick Stewart's immortal, and I remember thinking Magneto looks a little old, but Ian McKellen killed it. Like it was good for the roles, I guess. They because him and Patrick Stewart were similar in age, and they were playing, of course, the mentors. So and they didn't have to go into like Magneto channels the magnetospheric energy from Jupiter to stay young, or mutant energy makes him. It's just no. He was a kid during the 40s. He's this age now. Cool. I'm fine with that. And like some of the stuff he did, like I still love in the first movie when he took all the guns from the cops
Yeah.
and then he shot the one and he's like, "What are you gonna do, Charles? I can't stop them all." And he like played that chicken with Charles Xavier, and I still love the plastic cell was
Yeah.
so comic booky, and then him and Charles playing chess together was magnificent. I love it. Even you can see him. He's reading. Eric's reading Days of or not Days of Future. The Once and Future King by T.H.
Yeah.
White, which him and Charles are huge fans of. And Charles even thinking that he cast himself as Merlin instead of Arthur, because we all know Arthur is Cyclops. But yeah, I loved what they did. The dynamic between them. It's really important. Like more than anything, the dynamic between Charles and Eric needs to be equals with varying viewpoints. And those two, I think, filled that role. I think they did a fantastic job. And in fact, I think Days of Future Past, or not Days of Future Past, excuse me, X-Men 3 killing off Xavier, we lost Magneto's foil. There was no one to compete with him. And so I think that's amongst other things in that movie that I don't think landed right, that didn't work for me. I think that was something we lost. And it said Kelsey Grammer was made to play Beast. Yep, I even liked him in the post-credit scene for Marvel. The Marvels where he was voicing Beast because I loved them giving like Beast the more comic book look. But yeah, he sounds good. Kelsey Grammer's got a voice that has like gravitas. He sounds good. I loved when they first show him and he's reading the book and then they flip the camera and he's hanging upside down.
Yeah.
I liked that a lot. The one thing Kelsey Grammer coming back for being full CG. That's one thing. Kelsey coming back for this being full CG like the end of Marvels. Yeah. Hey, who played Nightcrawler? Alan used Tube Suck. Oh my God,
Oh
Nick.
no. Why would you?
They also used Magneto's Holocaust, yep, to set up his age. Yes, absolutely. So it made sense. That's why I don't know if anyone's watched Age of Apocalypse or no, is it Age of Apocalypse or just called X-Men Apocalypse? X-Men Apocalypse.
I don't know
Probably
because I
one of my
haven't
least
watched it.
favorite movies of all time. except for Magneto's stuff. Even though it's just him living in this little like East Eastern Europe village and he works in a factory, all the stuff with him up to him finally like unleashing his power on the people who uh oh god. What, Corey said something in the chat that distracted me. I'll read it later. But he that stuff was all good. Where it got heavy-handed is they're like, first of all, maybe it's happened in the comics because so many people. I do not ever see Magneto bending the knee and becoming an apocalypse, a horseman of the apocalypse. And then when he did it, Apocalypse took him to Auschwitz and was like, "Oh yes, remember how terrible humans are." I'm like, "Bruh, read the room. Like, don't take him back to. He just went through a terrible trauma. And you're gonna take him back to the place he had his first awful trauma." I just, it didn't work. They were going for some kind of emotional beat, but I felt like the emotional beat was already there, losing his wife and Polaris, who was in the movie, and so I don't know. It's
Polaris was in that movie.
yeah, yeah, she was young in it. I believe it was Polaris. Oh my God, he said. Aaron said Apocalypse. Heard a rumor. Oscar Isaac, because of course Oscar Isaac played Apocalypse,
Yeah.
is coming back as Apocalypse, but more comic accurate. I really hope so because apparently he was very disappointed with how it turned out because he was excited to play him. At this point, honestly, I'd be fine with him just coming back as Moon Knight, even though I wasn't a fan of the series. I think he could play the character just fine. And if they brought him into Secret Wars or all that, it would be fun to see him that way. Just the same. And I'm wondering what they're going to do. Are they going to introduce some kind of when they inevitably recast the X-Men, all the mutants, how are they going to do it? Because they're either going to have to explain how mutants age slower or they're going to have to change the Holocaust survival. Because Magneto is way like there. I mean, I hope there are. Are there any Holocaust survivors left with us? They got to be super old by this point.
Yeah, I mean there may be.
And he said Apocalypse was so bad I didn't even see Dark Phoenix, which I heard was a train wreck. Yeah, I heard. I don't think they set up Dark Phoenix enough. Again, Dark Phoenix is a big deal, and I think one they needed to establish it more. Two, have a whole have a whole excuse me, have a whole movie where she is the Phoenix but not a villain, and then have her go Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
But they weren't going to do that. And then I heard it was basically just get the movie out. Marvel's letting us do this. Push the movie out. Be done with it. I don't know. I haven't seen it though, so I will not pass judgment on it. And I wouldn't pass judgment on it if I seen it. I'd tell you if I didn't like it or not. There's still some, but yeah, old. It's yeah. I guess if depending on how young someone was, because that was the '40s, so yeah, they could be in his '70s. He could be in his '70s. Yeah. Gosh, to think there's people who lived through that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, I think they could do something and make it still work. Because you watch the original X-Men movies. Funny that Bryan Singer was in, but that stuff is obviously. If you watch those movies, the X-Men was about racial tensions disguised by them being mutants, and the movies were about the AIDS epidemic and more specifically about gay rights. And even it's so heavy-handed but funny is when they finally meet Bobby's parents, and she's like, "Have you ever tried not being a mutant?" And
Yeah.
it's obviously how many terrible conversations have you tried not being gay when people don't understand it. But I thought that was what worked in it. Like his brother turned them in. Like, man, you jerk! That's
Yeah.
your. I don't care if Scoot can. Well, it'd have to be something illegal. Scoot's like, "Hey, man, I've been serial killing on the weekends." Like, "Oh, cool. I'm gonna go out and make a phone call real fast." But if any of my brothers or sisters had ever come out anyway, even if I didn't agree with it, I wouldn't have done anything like that. I wouldn't have dimed them out or done anything to make them, I guess, have any kind of negative repercussions on them. It was a cool scene because they straight shot Logan in the head,
Oh yeah.
and then he got up. He said, Aaron said, I think they could try the slow aging thing for mutants. I guess, yeah, that makes sense. Like, you could do it very easily with very little exposition, and it would work fine. Just like you could have them like somebody having given a hate speech. Somebody's talking in front of the Senate or something in America, and they're, you know, they already have mutant powers, and studies are showing they're outliving us. And so, or something like that. They're aging slower and going to outlive us anyway, so we have to fear for our lives. You know, something like that. And a little piece of exposition like that, and that's all you need, and you could keep the Holocaust survival, and then also explain why they're aging slower. Aaron said a middle-aged bald man could be 40 or 70. We don't know. And said I'm the queer sibling being asexual, and you haven't tried to drag me off for reprogramming. So thanks for that.
You're queer?
Yeah.
That's a joke, I know.
Yeah. So there's the plus. And that's fine. Yeah. I same with movies. I don't care what you do. I just want everyone to be happy, as long as you're not hurting people. Sorry, responding to a text.
Oh, you're good. I'm just drawing. That's what I'm here to do.
Apparently, Bear. So I mean, I've got to keep up with other chats because our family doesn't always respond in YouTube. Our brother said Bear said just got home and turned on the stream without saying a word to him. Oliver goes hoo hoo yay, nice. And then says hey Brad. So yeah.
Hey Oliver.
See you, Matt. He said Matt said it's gonna hop off. Keep it PG.
Always
love seeing you guys chatting an hour every day.
See you in the chat.
Aaron said, "Let's go, Ace Pal." I like the term ace. It's kind of fun. It's kind of like I really like when people refer to collections of stuff. Like when people say the gays, it's funny to me because it's not offensive. It is just, but it's a weird way. It's like when people say like I'm gonna get on the Google, but it just sounds so awkward and funny. And there's way worse things that people would be called.
Alrighty. Well,
as long as Aaron doesn't stop joking with me, we're good.
If nothing, and we're at 7:22. We're doing good. We're definitely going to finish Spidey. Probably, I may get into some of the buildings.
Everybody's been waiting for the buildings.
I gotta get into the old man now.
Old? Oh, I guess he is old. He's got gray hair.
Yeah. I was gonna make him younger, but being older, his face is more.
I'm gonna ask you for a cover homage, but instead of like people who are like, "Hey, make it Venom swinging with him," I'll be like, "Make me the criminal, or make me the
guy being held."
Is he a criminal or is he being saved?
I always assumed he was being saved.
I don't know.
Maybe I'm not. I don't know. I mean, he is a green suit, and the green suit people were always bad guys in the original book.
Yeah, very true. Green and purple. I guess red too. Magneto had a dope red outfit. How'd you like Samus's new suit being all red?
Oh, super dope.
Yeah. Anybody else? So, any video game fans in here getting excited about the Switch 2 announcement coming in April? I know this isn't normal comic book stuff, but
definitely
super fun. I bought the Marvel vs. Capcom collection that came out, and I got the special one that came with the comic, and I was looking at it, and I was reading it and thinking, dang, this is actually really good. Like, the artwork's really good, and I'm liking the story, and I look, and Christos Gage wrote it, so that was exactly why. Sense. Yeah, it made sense. He's incredible. So, and I like that because you can tell, like, people these days will have revisionist history. They're like, oh, Captain America was always an A-lister. And you're like, no, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
He was Captain America. His book sold okay, but look at the cover for Street Fighter versus X-Men. First of all, they didn't even have any Marvel characters. It was just X-Men because the X-Men were the popular one.
Yeah.
And
that's how it started out.
But when they did Marvel vs. Capcom, Cyclops was in the front talking to Ryu because Cyclops was the important one. He was the leader, and Ryu is not really the leader, but he's the most popular of the Street Fighter characters. And Cap was just a character. Spidey was above him. And because Spidey is, of course, an S-lister. He's a triple A-lister. So, Aaron, at the end of the Metroid Prime Beyond trailer they showed during the Direct on Thursday, the Nintendo Direct, Samus is shown with an all red suit at the end, which is super dope. I think he sent a picture. That's yeah, she definitely still has her Varia suit, but she's got a red suit coming. All right. And he says X-Men and Spider-Man were the ones responsible for so many people loving comics in the modern era. Absolutely correct. I would say
in here? You gonna come on camera? No.
Captain America and Iron Man rose to prominence with Civil War. Really, I mean, they were popular and they had their great runs, but they were not the A-listers like that.
No.
And I think Civil War helped propel them. But I'm going to say this: both of them required Spider-Man to cross over because he's that important.
I think Iron Man really got his prominence with the MCU.
Oh yeah, absolutely, for sure. And again, he was important in the Avengers. He was one of the original Avengers in the comics too.
Yeah.
But still, like, pretty sure Hank Pym and Janet put the team together. Thor was the first one to yell Avengers Assemble. I mean, like, because Cap says it, of course, in the movies, but it was Thor in the comics. And there's, so, and I'm not taking anything away from those characters, but yeah, that's why
we obviously love them.
Cyclops is the bomb. That's all we need to know. I don't like some of the new artwork they did for it. And funny enough, when we played Marvel vs. Capcom, I didn't play as Cyclops. I played as War Machine and Mega Man.
Yeah, I played as.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know. I played as Ryu and Gambit or Ryu and Venom.
I'll probably go back and play as when I play it again. I'll play as Cyclops.
Yeah, we need to hook that John up.
I almost brought it, but I was like, man, we need to focus on the stream and we need the streams.
Yeah.
And then I need to do some design for you so we can design a summer shirt.
I'm pumped about that.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. We can workshop some stuff after the stream.
Yeah.
Aaron said, "Yeah, Civil War is huge for it. I'd argue now that the death of Spidey, now that death of Spidey grew his popularity more lately because his sales in the early 2000s weren't amazing." Yeah,
man. Amazing Spider-Man sales can't be that great either. I
had a question. So my friend and I were training for a big race, 100K, 2 years ago. And so when you're on the trail, man, you just find stuff to talk about. We literally bring conversation starters because you're talking. And most of the times, conversation's pretty organic, like here. Scoot and I usually think about 2 or 3 things we want to bring up and then just let the conversation flow. Evening of Cyclops, Evening of Carnage, Deck the Malls. Those were all different. We were very specific in what we were coming to talk about. But on the trail, you bring stuff just in case it gets lull. And I mean, you're out there for hours together, so you need to talk about stuff. And we'd talk about anything under the sun. I mean, I asked people what they think a perfect album is. I think we asked that last time on here. My friend is a handy, like I call him handyman, seems almost derogatory. He's this craftsman and woodworker and all this stuff. And one time on the trail, I was just like, hey, what if you have a toolbox, a little classic hand toolbox that you could throw in the back of your truck, what are the tools you have in there? What are your necessary tools? What are your bare minimum survival tools? We talked about that for an hour.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it was super fun and super informative. I went and bought some tools because of it. One time we were running and we got a little quiet. He goes, Brad, what do you think the biggest changes to comics have been in the past 10 years? What have been the biggest things to hit? And I said, well, I need to back it up. I said, can I tell you what I think the 2 biggest things that changed comics were in like the past 20 years? And he's like, sure. So my 2 things were the creation of Image Comics. It was the change of focus from Image Comics from trying to be another Marvel and DC to supporting and promoting indie comics.
Yeah.
And promoting these weird, I mean, they have no niche there. They have 7 to Eternity, which is 3:10 to Yuma with aliens. They have Sex Criminals, which is just weird.
Saga.
They have Saga, which is an adult-only version of Star Wars. They still have Spawn.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a superhero. They have superhero comics. They have all kinds of stuff. And I think their focus from that saved them. Because I think the continued pursuit after the speculation bubble would have caused them to not survive. I could be wrong about that. But the other thing I said that changed comics was Civil War.
Yeah.
Civil War was kind of the it had happened before. Like Secret Wars was a big Marvel crossover where all your heroes fought. Spider-Man took all the X-Men on by himself. They always fought, but it was always we fought and then oh, we were actually not supposed to fight each other. We're over it. And Civil War was the sticking point to where heroes don't agree. We don't assemble for everything just because Cap says assemble. Well, I don't believe in that. So it caused a rift that has never truly healed that I think Brian Michael Bendis played a lot with in his run of Avengers. And sometimes I feel people use it unnecessarily, but it to me was the death of the absolute hopeful, cheery outlook of the superhero. There's always been edgier superheroes. Punisher is never cheery.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little weird in the '90s with big laser guns and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that was the change of tone for superheroes that has never gone back. I think probably rightfully so. It was the 9/11 of comics where if you any of you some of you are younger but and some of you aren't American, so, but even people who aren't American, there's a clear line of memory before and after 9/11, and there I think is a clear line like a sedimentary layer where like the dinosaurs have the KT boundary where you can see the like iridium and everything or whatever the soot layer is where the meteor crashed and killed all the dinosaurs. And I think Civil War is that sediment layer that changed comics. Now there's other ones like the Killing Joke and even the Dark Knight Returns that I think helped push comics in a darker tone that allowed them to be more mature. But I think if we're talking about functional shifts, that was my argument. Obviously, I'm very interested of what people think, what other people, because that's something you could argue ad nauseum about what you think changed comics, because this is what I think changed comics based on my knowledge, and as we mentioned, my knowledge is mainly Marvel, but I still think I think an argument could be made. Aaron said, sorry, Brad, you're not getting good grammar or punctuation tonight. It's after midnight. It's okay. Reading for rich people. Oh, very clean line of history there. You're right, Brad. Oh, Aaron, that sounds nice. Can you record a voice note and say you're right, Brad, and I can just use it whenever I need? That would help get me through. How you looking, Scoot? How you feeling? Oh, face is coming together.
Oh,
Looks
yeah.
great.
Face is basically done. Now I'm just gonna draw some lines on Spidey's costume. The most nerve-wracking part
Is the
are making sure the lines are to proportion and to the right angle.
Have you already blue line those? Because I can't see them.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I have, but I can tell where I need to adjust.
Okay. Fair. That's one good thing is you can see some of the blue lines, but not all of. So there's still some surprises in there. You always just leave them with straight stripes.
Some people do that.
We got something from the family chat. Let's see. It's a comment for us. Oh, Misty was just liking a cute picture of our new niece Lily. She doesn't do a lot. She has a floppy neck, multiple points of articulation, and a very squishy face.
She's basically a water baby.
We love her immensely. Her and so this has nothing to do with comics, but getting Oliver to read. Oliver is a big boy now, and so they decided he was going to camp for the first time, and he camped in his backyard. And so I came over after an event, and him and I camped in his tent, and he has a cool little, if you know the little golden books for kids, he has a little projector that'll play them, and so him and I played those until he passed out, and he wasn't scared or anything. He has a thing where he goes, "Ooh, scary," and he shakes his fists. But he didn't seem to be too scared. I mean, he had Bear and me in there with him the whole time, his mom most of the time. So he had a good time. And then he woke up the next time and kept talking about how he slept in the orange house because it was there. Scoot, your head's in shot.
Oh.
Thank you.
Poor sister.
Aaron says another big point for comics was the comic crash in the 90s. Absolutely. In the 90s, before that crash, you could do anything. Yeah. Absolutely anything.
Anything, and it would sell.
And it would sell. So I don't want to harp on Liefeld too much, but he he was like, man, these my books crushed it in the '90s. I'm like, everything crushed it in the '90s, and so I don't think that's a good argument like for a point in his book, in my opinion. I sent a message to you guys the other day. I'm trying to pull it up about the importance. So, excuse me. This person, Brad Johnson, good name, on Twitter, I guess, or maybe it's Blue Sky. I don't know what it is. Posted and said comic books average 53.5 rare words per thousand, compared with an average of 30.9 rare words per thousand in children's books and higher than the adult average of 52.7. Let children read comics, graphic novels, or whatever will get them reading. I learned onomatopoeia from Batman. So we started talking about this. Mark and Scoot and I have talked about this. I think Annie and I have talked about this. Is how we learned so many weird words from it. But I mean, I thought that was interesting, and I want to know if anyone has a memory of a weird word. I mean, we all learned uncanny from X-Men.
Yeah.
We all like that. The first time I saw uncanny, I was like, "What up, X-Men?" And everybody's like, "What?" Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
And so I want to know if anybody learned weird words from comics or reading in general. But it's also something I've gone when we do Read Across America, and it's like Dr. Seuss Week in America. We my sister-in-law Lisa, I used to go and read to her class, which I really loved, and I don't she it was like fourth or fifth graders, I suppose, and I read Dr. Seuss books to them, and it was super fun. But I'd read some stuff. I read Dark They Were in Golden Eye to one of her classes when she was teaching older kids, and that's one of my favorite little short sci-fi stories, and it got me into reading science fiction as a kid. But I always told them like, guys, I go to comic shops frequently. I read comics all the time. Like, and if it's what you want to read, read it because you're going to learn stuff from it. And also, superheroes always have strange names, no pun intended. And so you'll learn stuff from people that way too. So I just thought it was an interesting point. And people say, I remember I had a boss who luckily isn't my boss anymore. He wasn't my direct supervisor anyway. But I want to say I was reading JMS, like Spidey, and he's like, "What you got there?" And he's like, "What you reading?" Because I always read on break. It's usually on my Kindle, and I was like, "Oh, I'm reading this run of Spider-Man from the early '90s." He's like, "Oh, comic books?" And I was like, "Dude, come on!" It's like 2022 at the time. Yeah, first of all, yeah, you know who I'm talking to, but it's just dumb that people think because it's a visual medium too. It's not a coloring book. Yeah. But also, if you want to do a coloring book, read it.
Read a coloring book.
Who cares?
Color it and then write your own dialogue.
Yeah, we've done that. Definitely did that. Looking for a reference or something?
Yeah, because I know on here Jack Kirby got his webbing wrong on points, and I just want to make sure I'm right.
Dang. Verified in the chat, Scoot said Jack Kirby was wrong, which is, man, that's a tough.
So if you look on his boots, the web goes like this. It's supposed to go down, just like it goes down his chest.
Still think Scoot said Jack Kirby was a bad artist.
Yep, that's not anything that I just said. So
everybody tweet that out, or don't tweet that. Actually, don't get on that site. Blue sky it out. I don't know what the word is. Yeah. Send it.
I use Blue Sky, but I don't get a lot of traction on there.
I think it was the same with. And he said Jack Kirby would actually fist fight you. He also fist fights Nazi, so yeah, we like him. I love the story. I'm pretty sure that was him where he was drawing Captain America and a bunch of people or some guys called up to his office, said, "Hey, there's some real Nazis downstairs, and we'll show." Or he said, "Come on downstairs, and a couple of us will show you who real Nazis were." And he told his boss, like, "Hey, I'm going on break." Rolled up his sleeves and went down there to fight them.
He went down there and they weren't there.
Yeah, I thought,
how hard is that?
Always an interesting point. This isn't even a political point. Punching Nazis is fun.
Yeah, it is.
I like watching Indiana Jones do it. I liked watching Deadpool's his credit roll in Deadpool 2 when he was killing Nazis. Always fun.
Yeah.
And that is an opinion that if you disagree with in the chat, that's fine. Leave.
I would hope that one day that I get well known enough that like I have a live stream and Bleeding Cool puts a story up that says, quote, Scoot, punching Nazis is cool.
Yeah. Quote, Scoot said Jack Kirby was wrong with his art.
No, please don't. I mean, he is the king and will always be the king.
King Kirby.
Yeah.
Wow. And you said you were better than him. Scoot said he's Emperor. God King Scoot said, going to go back in time and tell him to fix those webs.
Quote, Scoot says he's better than Jack Kirby.
Yeah. He's going to say, roll up them sleeves and come down and get beat by
God,
a guy who can draw Spider-Man.
If that was ever taken out of context, that would have ruined a career.
That's the Beatles saying they were more popular than Jesus.
Yeah.
Which is one time I agree with them. They were more popular than Jesus, and it wasn't even a
competition.
Well,
it wasn't even a competition.
Well, it was. Their point was they were talking about the diminishing religious.
Yeah.
I don't know what that. Aaron said, "I know Rich from Bleeding Cool. Come to Thought Bubble. We can make that quote happen." Aaron knows everyone.
Yeah.
He's talk about industry insiders he knows. I like the idea that he's the fix-it man. I'm just like, oh, guys, I wrote this great video game. He's like, cool, I know Miyamoto. Like, what? Modern version of that chud that fixed J. Scott Campbell's cover.
Oh, my God.
Dude.
That was brutal.
That guy, like, first of all, I get it if you want to make fun of something. We make fun of art all the time. And we don't do it in a public forum. I am not a fan of Rob Liefeld's art. But I try not to be negative, so I'm not going to sit and harp on it right now. But also, dude's making money. So, cool. Good for him. Whatever he wants to do. But I'm also not a good artist, so I'm not going to go on social media of any sort and be like, because I remember the dude was like, I had to fix this because it was just bad, so bad, or something like that. And I was like, dude, you rubbed it in a little hard from a guy who is probably a millionaire from comics, which is not something a lot of people can say. And J. Scott Campbell ruined that guy. And then he took it and made something good where he said, draw it in your style. And that was a fun little campaign people did for a while.
Fun, yeah. Corey still gives me shit because I drew her foot backwards.
No Name Collect says, yo, what's goody?
Hey, what's up?
Spider-Man's good.
Spider-Man is good.
We always like Spider-Man. And Scoot's been killing it. So we're in here talking about Scoot saying he was better than Jack Kirby.
It's not true.
2 left feet. That was the draw in J. Scott Campbell. Oh my gosh.
The 2 left feet.
I have never seen Scoot break it out into a cold sweat.
Oh my God.
That was, I don't know if you were out of it or too focused. No Name says,
I don't
looking
know
amazing. Thank you.
Oh,
great adjective. How about spectacular? Is it that good? Sensational?
Avenging? Yeah.
Jack the King Kirby? Yeah, No Name, you missed it. Scoot said he was better than him.
I did not. Please stop. I work really hard for every follower that I have on social media.
Why do you have 4,000 followers? You just broke 7,000. Let's see how many you got now. 7,408.
Yeah.
Good job, bud. Somebody just followed me, and I don't know who they are. Oh, OnlyFans. That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. In the peak, man, in 2022, I think I was almost to 9,000.
No, Mom's commented on Lily. Makes sense. Sticker bump said, don't forget to hit the like button. Perfect timing.
Yeah.
Insane statement.
Thanks, man. So that statement was not said. It was not said at all.
That's the BS section of this.
Please stop saying that. All right, next week's gonna be the weekly BS with Scoot.
The weekly S.
The weekly S. Brad's not welcome back.
You wish you could carry a YouTube stream without me.
Jesus Christ.
He turns it on and I'm just wearing a shirt that says Scoot's greater than Jack Kirby. Just a little alligator mouth.
Oh.
There's the greatest artist ever. Leonardo da Vinci, Scoot, then Jack Kirby. I'm gonna stop making you laugh while you're eating.
Yeah, I got a brush out.
It's unfollow button makes Scoot work extra hard to earn everyone back.
But I would like you guys to go hit the like button. That would be awesome.
Make Scoot do one of those celebrity apology videos where he sits in front of the only bare wall in his house and looks sad.
Yeah. I don't have a bare wall in my house.
Our brother has nothing but bare walls.
Bare owned walls. Yeah, so we're gonna fill in some blacks now.
Ooh. Filled them in. Said you
God, I can see it in people's posts now.
people on the responded. I showed him to this one on stream to tell you to go fuck yourself.
Yeah. This is gonna be one of those times that I hope people don't watch the video.
Oh, stream died. Didn't save it.
Rockwell, Linedecker, Scoot, Kirby. Get out of here.
Man, your ability to go like right on the edge of that thin line and brush it in is crazy.
Oh, yeah. I love a good brush. These are the new pins that I got for Christmas.
Yeah.
Or the new brushes I got for Christmas. They're really, really nice.
Nice.
And it's cool because like I squeeze it
Yeah.
to put more ink out.
Oh, damn, that's super weird.
So if my brush starts getting where it feels like it's
No
getting
name,
dry,
we're Whatnot streaming tomorrow.
we
you
are
wanna come buy
Whatnot
stuff.
streaming tomorrow. We'll cover all that at the end here. Because I'm not gonna get to finish the buildings live.
I think Scoot's gonna have this one say Kirby after Scoot. just to establish dominance.
Please. I gotta turn off.
No name. I don't know if you're serious or we're just playing around with the joke, but he says you offer any mentorships. So yeah, answer it seriously.
I've never thought about that because I'm constantly learning myself. But I do have people message me regularly on Instagram and ask for advice. A guy messaged me yesterday and he's messaged me a few times, and he said he's stuck on a piece that he's doing. And he wanted my input, so he sent me a picture of his drawing, and I'm gonna send him some notes back on it to help him get out of the funk that he's in. He's got a good base, and he just needs some advice to get him over this little hurdle he's got. So I do love giving art advice, but I am learning. I learn all the time. Never stop learning. Actually, you should never stop learning. But any questions you got? Any?
He said you low key left me on red.
Huh?
If I can say for him, he does have a full-time job, so
yeah.
Message him again and
message me again. I'm sorry.
To be fair, I have to message Scoot multiple times. I messaged him twice yesterday to ask him when he wanted me over today.
Yeah.
Before he responded, and I'm his damn brother.
And a lot of times, like I get a lot of messages on Instagram.
More than Jack Kirby. That's for sure. More messages than Jack Kirby.
I knew it was good. Oh, what a piece.
No name. Hit him up again.
Yeah. Hit me up again. A lot of times I get messages from people while I'm at my full-time job, and I know I just forget about it because I'll see the message and I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. And then when I get off, my brain's fried. So,
yeah.
But even so, with, I have a real full-time job that I'm at there 10 plus hours a day, and then drawing is now a second job. So a lot of times I come straight home and I just start working on commissions because I need to make that money. So yeah, hit me up again.
Yeah, and both of us, like in our chosen art, I've had people ask me for writing help, which I've got like 2 things published locally, and it blows my mind. But Scoot and I think of both. I think he would agree with this, and he can tell me if he doesn't. But so many people helped us when we asked questions because we've always been the person, if we want to know, we're going to ask questions. We're going to ask for advice. We're going to ask for criticism. And even Scoot asked for criticism and feedback on his art from David Finch, one of his biggest idols, his biggest living idol.
Yeah.
And I was waiting, like Scoot could have died that day. It could have crushed him if he said bad stuff. Finch gave him some great advice. I mean, obviously Scoot's a really good artist, so he didn't have a ton for him. But he gave him some good stuff about like, hey, you're wasting your time doing this.
Yeah.
It's detailed and it's cool if you want to do it, but don't do that. People are going to ink over it and stuff like that. So if people were always so nice to give us advice, who are we to not give advice going forward? You should
Yeah.
always pay that kind of stuff forward.
Yeah.
I'm sure Annie can agree. She's mom helped her learn how to sew, and she's learned so much, and people have given her advice, and she's learned tutorials from even just people online. So no one should gatekeep. It's not like Scoot won his art skills from meeting the devil at the crossroads at night. Like he
Would have
got
been
it
much
from learning
easier.
from other people, and so
Yeah.
it's
Everybody, and I'd say that's the one good thing I think about the comic book slash comic art community is they're all genuinely wanting to help each other get better.
Misty said Scoot would be an excellent mentor. He's the patient sibling.
I do have a lot of patience.
Yeah, he's my favorite patient, displaying patience.
Secret
And said, dude, I get so many questions. I do cosplay 101 panels at a lot of cons. Yeah, absolutely. And I guess my thing is, I help a couple of my friends train for running, and I remember when they asked me, I was like, what do I know? I just go out here and run. And then I started thinking about it. Like, think about something you're passionate about, and I guarantee you think, I'm not good at this. I'm not good enough to do this. But then actually think about things, just little tricks you've learned. Oh, I learned this from this experience, or I know this from this experience. And even if it feels like a well duh moment, it may not be a well done moment. Somebody may need you to tell them.
Yeah.
And stuff like that is invaluable because you had to learn in the trenches and you had to figure it out by asking people. So passing on that knowledge is a huge help. It's I remember I had somebody I was training basically through a notes app on our phone that was connected, and I would just post new stuff every day, and it's stuff that seems simple. It's things that seem
Um,
dumb. I mean, I'm sure Scoot still like Corey gives Scoot feedback on inking all the
yeah, he
time.
does.
So
I have actively sought feedback from Corey on inking. Like, hey man, how do these lines look? And it's cool because you can't be afraid for feedback as long as it's done right.
sure,
Someone can tell you that, hey, this wasn't done correct, and that's okay, as long as it's done right and you use it as a growing opportunity. And I think that's where me and Corey have a good professional relationship.
yeah,
No Name Collects. You said you're in high school. What's your name? So
he said Eli.
Eli. Okay.
Eli on the other platform, and then he put a frog emoji, which I'm all there
Okay.
for.
So we don't have to just keep calling you No Name.
Aaron, Aaron said nobody asking me for nothing. You and you're probably the only person I talk about writing with. We haven't done a lot recently, and that's my fault. But you were one of the few people I talked writing, and I really enjoyed that. But and said I definitely hate the gatekeepers. Said I had to figure it out, so figure it out yourself. Yeah, I don't think there's anything good about that. It creates a perpetual cycle of unhelpfulness and really just hate that you don't need. I Again, it's just be kind to people. Fuck it. Like
Be kind.
it's not
Rewind.
that hard. And I still remember I started drawing several years back to practice drawing based on Scoot's advice because when we were streaming from our local comic shop for a while, a guy came and was like, "Whoa, that's good. How'd you get that good?" And Scoot said, "Practice." And he's like, what are you having trouble? And the dude kind of seemed like he kind of brushed off. He's like, what are you having trouble with? He's like, eyes. He's like, dude, I do too. He's like, you should see my sketchbook full of eyes. He said, so here, and he pulled out like a page and gave this guy an eye tutorial in the middle of a comic shop when we were trying to stream us doing art. And the dude kind of like passed it off, like brushed it off, like, oh, this guy's just saying it. Like Scoot had some natural talent, and he was like, it's easy, just do it. And Scoot was saying, no, it's not easy. And he even gave him the breakdown. Here's the eyes and stuff you showed me. Like, hey, remember the eye's a ball, so don't draw as an oval first.
Yeah.
Draw the ball, then draw the lids, then erase what you don't need.
Yeah.
And that was a huge help. And I remember taking some of those pieces of feedback, and I wish I'd kept at it because it was fun. Like I drew Kiki from Kiki's Delivery Service, and I sent it to Scoot and said, "Give me feedback." And he was like, "This needs to be." And he didn't say this needs to be this. He said, "Here's what I'm giving you feedback on." And then I went and redrew it. I traced some of it and then did the touch ups, and it changed the picture. It was really informative. So I think getting good advice from people you trust who are people who are nice is a good
Yeah.
idea, and then listen to it. That
Yeah.
being said, not everything is going to be good advice.
No.
With writing, a lot of times I love people, but I'm just like they missed the point of this. I mean, a lot of times it's once I've got some trusted people who read my scripts, it really helped. But
I will just feeding onto that. There, you will 100% get advice that may not be advice that has to do with maybe your style. So, to give you an example, we went to Wizard World in Chicago a few years back, and last minute, I didn't know there was going to be a portfolio review. But Steve Geiger, who is one of the, like, he's like a classic comic artist. He had a little panel, which I won a Venom sketch from him, which was pretty awesome. But he was doing portfolio reviews, and I didn't know, so I didn't have my portfolio.
You're inking off the screen.
Oh, but I had pictures on my phone because he's like, "You got pictures on your phone? I can look at those." And I said, "Yeah." So he gave me one really good piece of advice that I was like, "Holy crap!" It was like eye opening. But he gave me another piece of advice that I was like, yeah, I took it. And obviously, because if somebody's going to take the time to give you advice, you're not going to just say, "Well, I don't agree with that." You're going to take it and use what you need and don't use what you don't need. But he gave me a piece of advice, and I was like, hindsight, I was like, I don't think that is really for me. But I took the piece that I knew was for me. So even if somebody gives you advice you don't think you're going to use or you maybe don't need, still be thankful that they're taking the time to do that.
I think yes, all of this comes down to Luke at the end of Mandalorian season 2, where he said, "Train a talent without training is nothing." And I've said it before. I've defended Scoot so many times where they always say, "Oh, Scoot's so talented," and yes, he has talent, but I'm not a big believer in natural talent where it's just like, oh, Scoot woke up and could do this. Because like when we skateboarded, Scoot was the best of us, but that's because he went out and practiced more than us. He stayed out when we would go in and play video games or whatever. He would stay out and practice till the sun was down, and probably after that, when it was dangerous and was going to get hit by cars.
Yeah.
When we got into Melee, playing Super Smash Bros. Melee competitively, the only reason Scoot wasn't the best in the region is because he played with Link, and Link's a terrible character. I mean, just objectively, Link is not a good character. He has so many flaws you have to overcome. But I remember him playing in tournaments and just scaring these professionals who were like, I can't believe a Link is going this far. And when it came to drawing, is you put more time into it.
Yep.
Now, when it came to like comic stuff, we kind of branched. Like I don't want to draw. So I would never have kept up with you anyway. But it it shows that like you have to keep practicing, you have to keep training at that.
And it all starts with a love of it. You got to have a love of it. So I'm going to bring this in real quick. And you'll just kind of, actually, I can just zoom so I can keep the light on it. So you can kind of see where we're at with this thing. I'll finish up the buildings because, again, I'm going to give people an opportunity to, hey, Justin, what's up, buddy? I'm going to give people the opportunity to bid on this because I am going to run it for auction tomorrow on the Whatnot show. But it will start at a higher price. It'll start at a higher price.
Eli says, I always bring my sketchbooks to cons and try to get advice on even sketches. What state do you live in, or where do you live, Eli? Just please don't put your address in the chat. Misty said you got to pass along anything you know to someone just starting out, whether it's running or cosplay or drawing or showing
Thanks,
horses.
Justin.
Yeah, Misty's mentored multiple people as far as I know of showing horses, and now she's making clothing and stuff for it, which is incredibly impressive. He said he struggles with rendering and cross hatching. Eli, I'll let Scoot get into. Scoot loves rendering, so
I love rendering.
And Justin said he asked if this was a link to our Winamp.
Oh my god! So we'll talk more. Eli, we'll talk
California.
more. You're in Cali.
Nice.
I'll be there next month. With my wife and I are going to Disneyland.
I've never been.
And I'm really pumped. We're big Disney people. But we'll talk more about this when we can. But cross hatching and rendering is my favorite part because literally you can do a line drawing, but I feel like it just comes to life. Like I mean, look at this again. So you can filling in the blacks brought this to life, but you can also see. Let's see if I can get in there. You can see the hash marks and the cross hatching and those fades and feathers. That's the kind of stuff that I love to do. So we'll talk more about it, but it's all about the pressure and then how long you want it to be. Uh, there's a lot of nuances that go into it, but it's my favorite part. Is what brings a piece to life. So, and plus you're in high school, so awesome.
Yeah.
Keep at it. I wish that I had. I've drawn my whole life. I'm 39 now, but I've drawn my whole life. But I didn't really put a heavy focus on wanting to do comic book art until 10 years ago. And then I'll probably say that in probably the last 5 years is when I've done it the heaviest. But then probably the last year to year and a half, I feel like I finally hit a point to where I'm getting the lines that I want. I'm getting the pieces that I've had in my head finally put on paper. So never stop.
Yeah.
Keep drawing.
Mess it up a bunch of times.
Yeah, mess it up and just get through it. Like even if you have something you're not 100% happy with, get through it because you'll learn from it.
Yeah. And you'll learn as much from successes and failure. So
yep.
Fuck stuff up and do the next one better.
So just to wrap up, because we're at 8 o'clock now. We usually go for about 2 hours for anybody that's new.
Aaron needs to sleep.
Aaron needs to go to bed. So tomorrow, first of all, if you haven't already, go hit like on this video because that really does help us get visible, and we want to be visible, not for reasons that Brad kept saying earlier, as far as me not liking or me better than Jack Kirby. We want to get more people to watch our videos and tune into these, not for being popular, but because it's fun to have a bunch of different people talk about nerdy stuff all day. So like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. our time, so 2 p.m. Central on Whatnot, we'll be doing a live auction, and that show's already up. So if you're on Whatnot, go bookmark the show. If you're not on Whatnot, go to my bio on Instagram, and you can click a link to sign up for Whatnot. And when you use that link, not only will it take you to my page, but it'll also give you $15 to use towards anything that you buy, not just for me, but towards anything on Whatnot. And if you're a comic book collector or a collectible person, there's tons of stuff on that app, and it's a really cool app to go find some good deals. So we'll be doing a show tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central. So what is that? 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 Pacific. So you see Sophie? Yeah, Sophie's down here. So yep, I'm gonna have, and I've already got a bunch of stuff listed in there for auction that I'm gonna have. I'll do, as I normally do, I'll do some quick sketches that start at $1, and those are always pretty popular. But I've got some comic book, like I've done some remarks on some comics. So like this is just a Carnage issue 3 that I've done a Carnage remark on. I think this one's starting at 25. I've got this one starting at 20. So there's that. There's some original art. This piece that I'm working on here will be up there as well, but it'll be starting at a higher point, a higher price point. But there will be a chance to buy it for cheaper than maybe you would if you were to commission it from me. So, but the Whatnot shows are fun. We may dig through some portfolios. We have no idea what we're 100% going to do, but go bookmark the show because those are fun as well. What else you got? You got anything?
I'm good. I've done my job.
Only other things I'll say is I have links in the...
It's a dollar start at you, coward.
Nope. No way. 100% no way. I have some covers. These are the body trade. There is the colored version here and the just inked version. Inked by Corey King here in the chat. Everybody's favorite sleaze bag. There's a link to buy these in the comments, and then there's a link to buy the Lucky Devils variant cover as well, done by me. Actually, all of these are done by me, Corey King, and Daniel Arm. So if you want to support us, go buy those covers so we can do more covers. And then other than that, go, all the stuff's in there to go follow us on social media. So I think that's about it. You got anything else, Bradley?
Nope.
I think we're gonna go
I'm
eat
hungry.
something. Yeah, we're gonna go eat something. So, other than that, we will see you guys at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next time. Holla.